connotations. I see text as more of like just the visual aspect. It would just be how the letters look on the page, whereas words are the meanings and the connotations and what I'm trying to say through just the writing versus what I'm trying to say through the aesthetic level of the piece.
What is the relationship between writing and drawing?
Basically, it all comes back to the visual aspect. So it's all about communication, and it's different forms of communication and what you're comfortable with. And what I'm comfortable with happens to be words, but also just this idea of eliminating the myopic quality of words and text. Because on the one hand, you have you can say so much more directly with words, but you can also accomplish a lot more by inserting words that almost can't be read, because that sort of adds a level of confusion that sort of, I don't know, just escalates the whole piece to another level. I guess it's level 12 times.
What message are you trying to get across to the viewer with this piece in particular?
This piece was less about a message, I think, and more of I don't want to say self-discovery because that's really cliche, but it was basically, this piece was more of a transformation thing. It started as one thing, became another, and the entire time it was about me understanding myself, and maybe through that helping other people understand me, but that was not the priority.
If someone was to take away one thing from all of your work as a whole, what would you want it to be? Why?
I would probably want it to be the power of words as not just communication, but also as art. And so just the visual aspect. So take away the meaning, take away what the words say, and just look at them and look at how it feels. Sort of, after doing this, I went around and I took pictures of just different little segments, sort of like a viewfinder kind of idea. And so I took little pieces of it, and it still looked awesome, and it still conveyed the same emotion that I was looking for. And I think if you can eliminate, when I say myopic quality of text, I'm talking, you see text, you read what it says, and that's all you get out of it. I mean, some people get more, but a lot of people, that's all you get. When you sit there and you blur the edges and you have it all sort of run together, then you can create this whole other meaning. And I think that's the most powerful thing of what I do.
You started talking about how you just picked red paint. Is there a reason for the color red and the other colors being more neutral? What is the significance, if any, behind it?
Well, I was definitely going for something very organic. And so all of the tones were supposed to be muted, but the way that the red turned out, it wasn't. But I think that the organic quality still kind of comes through. I kind of see it as, it almost looks like, and this is really morbid to say that it looks like blood, but I don't mean blood as if like you killed someone, there's blood on the floor, oh my god, they're dead. But blood is in the veins that connect everything in your body to another part of your body, and it's sort of what's connecting the different words to each other and what's connecting one part of the piece to another, and it's all sort of just this interconnecting idea that comes with the idea of blood flowing through veins, and I think that's a very powerful part of how this became what it is.
And then the black and the gray, was that just to not detract from the red?
It was more just to continue this idea of just the organic quality. Because on the one hand, I am working very I'm very technically oriented, but it's also very organic, it's also very free-flowing, it's also about connecting with everything else.
Talking about how this piece kind of related to you and how there was a change in yourself, does it relate to one specific event that happened to you? Or not, or what?
It doesn't really relate to one specific event as much as just the idea of growing up in itself. The idea of transformation and organic and all of that sort of thing comes back to me being 17 going on 18 and dealing with everything in my life. And I don't know, I think a lot of my work comes back to this idea of myself as a very private person. I'm not the kind of person that goes around and talks to everyone about everything. I just can't do that. I'm very I don't have a tendency to trust many people, and I think that by doing this through art and doing this sort of self-expression kind of thing, it's an outlet without having to become uncomfortable about just for the most part, I can't sit there and talk to someone this is what I feel, this is how I feel, so instead I do it through art, and I do it through this, and that's a huge part of what I am, but I wouldn't say it's connected to any specific event in my life now.
And in this particular piece, where are the words from and what made you decide on them?
The words are basically just my thought bites. Whatever I was going for at the time. And there's no specific overlying theme, except it's just sort of what I was feeling at the time, because it's all about this sort of my own self. And so what I did first was, after putting the paper up, I went through with this very light black, and that was basically all of what I was thinking. It was like a giant compilation of everything that I was feeling and thinking and doing at the time. And then everything else is pulled from those first words. So, there was one piece that I really liked, and it said, I wrote it over there. It says, honestly, in all honesty, I don't think I could tell you the truth even if I wanted to, because honesty by definition, or because basically the whole piece comes back to this idea of vulnerability and putting yourself out there, and how it's so much easier when you don't have to deal with the consequences. And by doing this in a way that a lot of people can't read and a lot of people can't understand, I still feel as though I'm expressing myself, but it's without the consequences of being that exposed kind of person. And I think that's kind of the emotion that comes through when you look at this piece as well.
Very good. Thank you.